And so we at Mionix want to revolutionize gaming and giving real-time statistics to players about their heart rate, their excitement levels, so they can be more immersed into their gameplay with the NAOS QG by Mionix Labs.
Oh my god, another gaming gimmick.
Making the mouse more expensive, who needs a heart rate sensor monitor and GSR sensor?
What is a GSR sensor anyway?
Anything these days that will go into a gaming product to make it more high-end or elite or whatever. But yeah, that's the whole idea. It's so ambitious. We've never seen anything like this before. Having a heart rate sensor on the gaming peripheral might sound gimmicky, but you know, I might want to control or monitor my heart rate during certain types of games. Like, sure, it's kind of cool. And for streamers too, if I'm streaming right now, for example, I want to give my viewers that extra authenticity of my reactions to what's happening inside the game. Definitely a unique element for the viewer and the audience to experience while I game. And so those are the three camps, not including Mionix, about their reactions to the NAOS QG and the heart rate sensor. Which camp do you belong to? And I wonder if your opinion will change after watching this video. And if it does, let us know in the comments below. Let's get on with the review. This could be you. Every time you turn on your PC. Super chill CPU? Happy you. Kraken X61 by NZXT. Purchase discount in description below. So it's been 2 years since the Kickstarter campaign was launched, it was funded, and now the NAOS QG or Quantified Gaming Mouse is finally in my hands. I was actually one of the early backers as well, so I actually bought this mouse because I absolutely love the NAOS design, the shape, the format is excellent. So first of all, the QG edition is now a different color. It comes in matte gray, it hides oil stains a little bit better versus the black. The switches are the same to the original, but the sensor is now upgraded to the Pixar 3360 versus the 3310 on the original. And then the reason why you'd buy this are the two new sensors beside the logo, the heart rate sensor and a GSR sensor that measures excitement. First, let's talk about the tech and its placement on the mouse, because that is the most crucial thing about this product. The green laser here is a Pixar heart rate sensor with up to 3000 frames per second and 6.8 megahertz frequency. It's green because our blood absorbs green light, so when the heart beats, blood flow increases and more of that green light is absorbed. So the sensor measures the change in green light absorption and determines the heart rate that way. Now, compared to my S7, the BPM is very close and calculations have been a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes it finishes in 10 seconds, while other times it says it's almost ready, but really not picking up anything for a few minutes. But when it does, you have a live heart rate measurement on your screen as long as you're making contact with that sensor, which is the most crucial element about the NAOS QG, which unfortunately for me doesn't work. So I have large hands and I prefer a hybrid grip where the right side of my palm touches the mouse body with this semi-claw fingers, while the left side of the mouse, where the heart rate sensor is located, is kind of at a weird angle and too low on the body for my hand to actually make contact with. And apparently I'm an outlier in this position, because Mionix obviously did their research and figured out for the majority this was the best placement to accommodate for all types of hand sizes and only palm grip. So my hybrid grip doesn't really fit that description. So for smaller hands, less than mine, and for palm grip, the sensor would be okay. And I gotta be honest, it's quite unfortunate that this placement doesn't work for me. I thought that the sensor would go under the thumb buttons, where, you know, your thumb is always sitting regardless of hand size, or on the right curve behind the DPI change buttons. And I consider those spots to be sort of like safe spots where contact with the skin is guaranteed. Now, the sensor is high quality. It will pick up heart rate regardless of skin color, regardless of moisture on the skin, and you can have a little bit of spacing between the skin and the sensor, so like 1 to 2 millimeters is okay. But in the case of my grip style, the readout would not be recognized, and I just couldn't figure out a better way to hold the mouse for the sensor to work. Again, so unfortunate. So let's talk about the second sensor, the GSR sensor, which makes perfect contact with my skin. I really wish these were just flopped, because this one is more of a let's put it in the mouse, why not type of feature. It's called the galvanic skin response sensor, which measures excitement based on conductivity of your skin. And this one is less important because for it to be accurate, you need to be totally still. So if I pinch my leg, for example, you can see the spike with GSR picking up something, but it really is kind of pointless since it always detects something when you move the mouse. The biggest question most likely from the community would be why? Why is there a heart rate sensor on a mouse? What's the point? The biggest target here, or maybe the only target, would be streamers right now, because to give my viewers that extra element of authenticity, so they can see my heart rate while I'm gaming, so that if I'm playing something super scary and my heart rate goes up, I'm scared. You can have that extra observational element, giving audience your heart rate BPM, so that they're aware if your heart rate is rising based on certain levels of the game. Would be really cool to show during really scary genres. Would be really awesome for competitive gameplay too, from an observational standpoint. So you can see if certain players on a team are more calm than others, to see if heart rate increase corresponds to poor performance or vice versa, and you can sort of extrapolate that information to coach potential competitive gamers to do better in certain matches, in certain situations. But beyond this observational element, right now there exists no good system to track your heart rate, see when it was peaking, see the average, see the lowest, and see how it was interacting during certain gameplay. You have a little bit of that in the statistics tab in the beta software, but it's just too little of a glimpse of what is happening with your heart rate at the specific sessions. For example, here's a 3-hour gaming session. You can see my heart rate is all over the place, but corresponding perfectly well with clicks per second. And here's another one for CSGO. And these sessions are automatically created. So I would like some manual track feature that will allow me to create these graphs based on my in and out points. Now the good thing is the hardware is working well. It's the software that needs to catch up. They've already updated the firmware that drastically improves the time it takes to detect your heart rate, so that's great. And they're taking feedback on what users want to see in the final driver software or out of beta software. For example, right now we don't even have surface calibration yet, but all the button customization, DPI and color are working fine. Right now the overlay is done through the Overwolf app. That is super basic, so you have 3 color choices, but the promise is for this ecosystem to really grow and allow you to show a lot more information on that circle or cycle between some information. I just really wish the sensors were swapped, because as of right now the heart rate sensor doesn't make contact with my skin, and I hope I'm one of the very few. Assembling your Vertigear gaming chair just got a whole lot easier with a simple insert mechanism of the back seat onto the side rails, so you mount the side screws much faster. A true one-man job. Assembly made easy by Vertigear. But I'm very interested to hear what you guys think about this product, especially if you're a streamer. Is it a cool thing to display for your audience? And if you're watching somebody stream, is it a cool thing to see their heart rate, maybe spiking up very high, and you're wondering if they're healthy or not and maybe you should stop playing? But all this information, especially if you extrapolate in temporal scales of seeing heart rate over time, for certain games, and it would be really cool as the software matures to see when we are most stressed out, when we're most chilled out, what does our heart do in 3-hour gaming sessions and 1-hour gaming session, and etc. I would love to continue this conversation in the comment section below. It was very interesting for my own to observe my own heart rate going from 70 to 90 in casual gaming and over 100 in competitive gaming. So all that is very interesting, but again, you gotta ask if this is a cool thing of value added for your audience, because this whole thing isn't really for personal use. It's more of an observational perspective from a third-party viewership. So let us know if your mind has changed based on your initial expectations, what you thought the NAOS QG would be versus what you think it is now. I'm Dmitry with Harvard Canucks. Thanks so much for watching. Keep updated in the comment section, because I will be giving my thoughts on new driver releases and firmware updates. So guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.